$1 trillion wiped out in 6 weeks. And you think the crash is over? Think again. Bitcoin slipped below 90k, the lowest level in over 7 months. And the rest of the market is getting dragged down with it. $1 trillion has vanished during this crash wave. And what's causing it? ETF outflows, brutal liquidations, leverage getting flushed, and sentiment collapsing across the board. And this part is wild. The fear and greed index isn't just low, it's one of the most fearful readings of the entire year. Historically, that's the moment where big wallets step in, right as retail gives up. So what happens next? Breakdown or bounce?
Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Chakadesh. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the Great Millstone, who to rule and teach well. Yahweh Ba'ashmel Shai, Barakatham, to sincere Akim, pushing his gospel to the four corners of the earth, laboring his truth in all diligence, righteousness, and sincerity. To the few sincere Aquath, listening and learning as well. To you I say Shalom. So this would be a lesson going into various topics. And Lord willing, this lesson is edifying, but we'll start right here. $1 trillion gone. Poof. The epic cryptocurrency crash that we are watching is a major warning sign for global markets. And just a few weeks ago, they pumped how many billions of dollars of artificial cash into the economy to keep it propped up, to stabilize it. And that's because these markets are going down. It's at an all-time low. Trade is slowing down across the globe. And ultimately, above all, demand for the dollar is rapidly dropping. All right, when you look at this whole cryptocurrency crash that's taking place right now, it's all tied to the Federal Reserve. All right, because the Federal Reserve, they're dumping the dollar like they just stopped making pennies. You know what I'm saying? It starts with the pennies. Next thing they're going to stop making coins altogether. Then it's going to be the cash. Okay, then it's going to be a crash and a reset from that. Right, but the Federal Reserve, they're getting ready to reset this whole system come 2026. And, brothers went into lessons, yesterday about how that Forbes magazine cover, with all that chaotic, stuff that was on there going into 2026, that, what these devils are going to do. Okay, and 26 is going to be the year where they reset, where there's going to be a financial collapse, and they're going to bring about a digital technocracy. You know what I'm saying? And this is all a part of the UN's global sustainment agenda, okay, or the global sustainability agenda, should I say, all right, in which they want everybody on the earth to receive a digital ID, where they will receive a universal basic income, where you will be a global citizen. And if you don't have these things, then you will not be able to receive benefits. You know what I'm saying? This all goes into Revelation 13 and 16 on down. But this is the lead up going to it. So we're going to tap into this right here. The ride up was a lot of fun for crypto investors, but now many of them are getting wiped out by the ride down. For a long time, people were using borrowed money to make absolutely enormous returns in the cryptocurrency market. Unfortunately, that bubble is bursting, and an epic cryptocurrency crash is now upon us. The price of Bitcoin is falling to the lowest level that we've seen in more than 6 months. And other major cryptocurrencies are getting slammed even harder. In many cases, we are seeing forced liquidations take place. And it certainly wouldn't take much for this panic to bleed over into the stock market. And that's the point. That's what these devils want, these elite bankers, because they control the crypto markets. You know what I'm saying? They also control the stocks. You see, and when you go into what is a market, right? A market is a regular gathering of people for the purchase and sale of provisions, livestock, and other commodities, an area or arena in which commercial dealings are conducted. Shopping center demand, right? So within these markets, you know what I'm saying, things fluctuate, they go up and down, but ultimately, a lot of these markets now are liquefying their assets. You know what I'm saying? They're bailing out because they've already been given the drop on what's to come. All right. And prior to the 2008 crash, you saw the same thing. Okay, you saw a lot of these big investors, they started dumping, their investments and things of that nature, and they were, getting into hard assets, man. That's why the price of gold now is at an all-time high. Silver is also astronomically high, man, because they know what's about to come is a crash and a reset, and they're getting their hands on as much tangible wealth that they can possibly get. So all this artificial money that's floating in the system right now is really worthless. To come 2026 when they really pull the plug, a lot of people are about to lose. They had their hope and faith in the system. Reading on, the amount of money that crypto investors have already lost is staggering. On October 6th, Bitcoin had a market cap of $2.48 trillion. As I write this article, it has a market cap of $1.72 trillion. That is a loss of more than $750 billion in less than 2 months. Let that sink in for a moment. Those that go in at the top of the market are getting absolutely crushed. All right, so you get the point. These markets are tanking, and this is why you see a lot of mom and pop businesses, especially now, going under because they can't afford, to keep operation, man, because these markets are terrible. That business ain't booming like how we used to. Now the big corporations, for now, they're still doing well because they have the capital to eat these rising costs. But your average, privately owned business and bank, they're going under, and they're having to be either, bailed out or just go out of business altogether. Okay, because who owns these corporations? It's really the small hats. Okay, so they're able to prop themselves up, and they're able to crash the markets at will. So this all goes into the agenda of you will own nothing and you will be happy. Everything is going to be centralized to the elites. That's where all this is really going, right? But when you go to Isaiah, Zephaniah, right, the first chapter, Zephaniah 1 and 11, and it reads, how the inhabitants of Magtesh, okay, which Magtesh was pretty much like the ancient stock trade or the ancient stock market of the ancient world, okay, where there was a lot of goods and commodities being moved and trade being done. All right, the Phoenician quarter, for all the merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off. Okay, so it's going to be, so I can read verse 10, and it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, that there shall be a noise, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gate, and a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. Right, so there's a great economic crash coming, a crash of this society, and once again, a reset, man. So, these devils know what they're doing. They're destroying the markets, and this is not mainstream news, okay? This is how man. The fact that they about to put this, Epstein list out there, allegedly, because they even playing games with that. They've been playing games with it. But you really think that they're going to give you the truth of the matter, when they release those Epstein files? That's really all a distraction from this that's going on right here. There's so many things going on behind the scenes that's not being reported on, but they want you to focus on some damn Epstein list, okay, which really at the end of the day holds no weight, because all that's going to do is pretty much confirm what we already know, that the people that rule over you and that make the laws and that, so-called govern you, that they're a bunch of damn demons. All right. So we already know that, man. That's really old news. But this right here, this is what's going to directly affect people's lives, all right, going forward into the next year. So let's move on to another article. All right, check this out. From Fox News, holiday crime fears grow as jugging thieves caught. As jugging thieves target shoppers carrying cash and gifts. Only a matter of time. So these are time that we in, man. What I'm saying? The days are very evil. Things are turning up. And see, uh, the more that this society begins to crash and crumble, of course, with that comes crime and violence. You know what I'm saying? And people ain't seen that yet, man. Like the worst is yet to come. What does it say when you read Ephesians, the 5th chapter? Ephesians 5 in verse 14, it says, "Wherefore he saith, Awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Yahweh shall give thee light. See then that you walk circumspectly," meaning to be aware of what's going on, to look around, circum meaning around, spec meaning to look, right? Not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil, right? We're in some very evil days, man. Like, there's a lot of judgment, there's a lot of spirits of vengeance out here. There's a lot coming down the pipe from these devils, man. When you read Revelation 12 and 12, it will tell you that the devil shall come down with great wrath, for he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Verse 17, "Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is." And what is the will of the Lord? The will of the Lord is that America, Babylon the Great be destroyed, that this place not be healed, and that ultimately this place go out with violence. You know what I'm saying? When you read Isaiah the 19th chapter, it tells you about Egyptian against Egyptian, talking about a civil war. Second Ezra the 6th chapter, that friends shall fight one against another like enemies. Second Ezra 15, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor for the lack of bread and great tribulation. These are the times that we're in, and these things are already happening. Okay, you still have government workers that have not gotten paid yet. You still have people that have not received SNAP benefits yet. You know what I'm saying? So people are in a real desperate mode right now, to where they're going to be in survival mode. And come January 2026, the government going to shut down again. And when that happens, they really going to let it ride out. You know what I'm saying? Because that's going to be the ushering in of the chaos that they need to bring in the NWO. You know what I'm saying? So this is definitely a time to be circumspect, be aware of what's going on, because the devil don't sleep. Ultimately, the Most High, he's performing judgment upon the earth, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's a time to repent, get yourself right, and, stay out the way, right here. Arkansas and Virginia become first states to commit to Apple Wallet digital ID. So this is a growing trend. We saw about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, Apple rolled this thing out. And now this is being accepted at TSA airports and things of that nature. Right now, it's optional, but very soon it's going to become mandatory. Okay, these devils are going to pass laws to say that you must have a digital ID to be able to do X, Y, Z. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have it, they're going to make your life so hard and tedious, to where it's going to frustrate people so much that they're going to opt into it. Okay, so this new system is right before you. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're already here. All right, reading. It says Apple Wallet recently launched a new digital ID feature using U.S. passports, but support for state driver's licenses continues to grow too. And 2 new states have now pledged support for the feature. After a slow start, Apple Wallet's digital ID initiative is finally starting to take off. Apple has previously announced several U.S. states that have committed to offer digital IDs, including Connecticut, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Utah, and more. Now, as discovered by Mac Rumors, 2 more states have pledged support: Arkansas and Virginia. Both Arkansas and Virginia now say on official government websites for their own mobile ID apps that they have committed to adding Apple Wallet support, which again, this is leading to the MOTB, man. All right, all roads lead to the MOTB. And these devils, they're pushing the envelope. And why are they doing it now, going into 2026? Because again, that Forbes magazine cover, which is really for the elites, you know what I'm saying? That's how they communicate, you know what I'm saying? But they also give you the truth in a plain sight, okay? But they gave you that cover to show you all of what is going to transpire next year, man, because these things are all planned out and it's all orchestrated, man. So you thought 25 is bad, 2025 is going to be a damn roller coaster, okay? And in the worst way, you know? Both Arkansas and Virginia now say on official government websites, okay, blah, 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 I read that. So yeah, that's pretty much the point, man. Arkansas, Virginia, they're like the first states to commit to this Apple digital ID. You know what I'm saying? So you can know that next, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be New York, it's going to be LA, it's going to be Chicago, and it's going to spread to the rest of the United States, okay? So this is a gradual rollout, gradualism, to where they're going to get to the end goal of getting you chipped. You see, Border Patrol is monitoring U.S. drivers and detaining those with suspicious travel patterns. You see? So we're really in a surveillance state now, man, to where, this AI and robotics, what I'm saying, they're fully implementing this thing to run society. All right. So you got Border Patrol, monitoring U.S. drivers and detaining people that have what they deem as suspicious travel patterns. And this is all to control travel, to limit your movement, because ultimately they want everybody to be in a 15-minute city. As it says in 2nd Ezra 15, we can get that real quick. All right. 2nd Ezra 15. And 17, it says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be afraid, shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Okay, so the scriptures tell you that a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Why is that? Because it's going to be checkpoints. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're not cleared to go through certain areas, you won't be able to travel. All right. The airlines are going to be, shut down pretty much because they're going to implement a, carbon tax. You know what I'm saying? To say, well, if you have or if you use a certain amount of carbon per day, you're not going to be able to fly or travel anywhere. And furthermore, before you even get there, you got to have a digital ID and a chip to even be able to travel. All right. So these devils are cracking down, man. All right. For all you scoffers out there that, came and said that, ain't nothing happening. Well, now you see what it is, man. Okay. Now you see that prophecy is being fulfilled, that the words of the Heavenly Father are faithful and true. All right. The U.S. Border Patrol is monitoring millions of American drivers nationwide in a secretive program. And that's how the devil works. You know what I'm saying? He likes to work in the shadows. He likes to work in the dark. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't like to put his stuff out there where you can see. And again, this is why they pump all these distractions out to you while they're doing this secretively. All right. As it says in Psalm 64, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. Right. And a secretive program to identify and detain people whose travel patterns it deems suspicious. And what the hell do that even mean? You know what I'm saying? What are suspicious travel patterns to these devils? Okay. Really, it's the freedom to go where you want to go. All right. That's really what they mean. But reading in says the U.S. Border Patrol is monitoring millions of American drivers nationwide in secretive programs to identify and detain people whose travel patterns it deems suspicious. The predictive intelligence program has resulted in people being stopped, searched, and in some cases arrested. And in the Palantir and the Project Gideon, all these things are going to work in tandem together to pretty much monitor you 24/7. A network of cameras, scans, and records, vehicle license plate information, and an algorithm flags vehicles deemed suspicious based on where they came from, where they were going, and which route they took. Federal agents, in turn, may then flag local law enforcement. So now you can be arrested, okay, for traveling interstate. You see what I'm saying? So we're coming into a system of complete tyranny, some real 1984 George Orwell type of stuff, man. Okay, this is becoming reality, and this is why we pray to get the hell out of here, man, because this ain't it. So who the hell wants to live in a world like this? And this is nothing more than Esau seeking to become the Most High. You know what I'm saying? He wants to have eyes everywhere. He wants to be omnipresent, omnipotent. Okay, know everything and be all powerful, man. You know what I'm saying? When you go to Isaiah 14, let's get that. Isaiah 14 chapter in verse 12. And it reads, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahweh. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. And this is Esau, the so-called white man's inward desire. Okay, he wants to be like the Most High. He wants to ascend above the clouds. Okay, he wants to control what you eat, how you eat it. Okay, where you can travel. Okay, even what you're thinking within your mind. Right? Esau wants to know it all. That's his God complex. Yet, thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. Okay, so ultimately, saying the Most High is going to stop this, man, but he is going to get us so far. All right, but you already see what he's setting up on the earth, man, a system of complete unrighteous demonic control, all right, through his artificial intelligence, man. Okay, it says here, suddenly drivers find themselves pulled over, often for reasons cited, such as speeding, failure to signal, the wrong window tint, or even a dangling air freshener blocking the view. Come on, man. You see, and these are what is outlined in Isaiah 10 and 1. Unrighteous decrees. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and grievousness, which they have prescribed. See, these things are grievous, man. But these things are being made into laws. Okay, these things are being made into mandates to where you must abide by these things, man. All right. So now, if you got a air freshener dangling from your front window, you got the wrong window tint, all right, you speed or you fail to signal, then now these devils can lock you up, detain you, and pretty much do what they want, man. All right, so what does it tell you about the rights of these Americans? It tells you that these Americans, rights are being stripped. Okay, and very soon they're going to tell you that you can't travel within 50 miles. All right, and if you do, then your ass gonna get locked up. All right, they're gonna have the Palantir report your ass, and you're gonna be in the clink. All right, that's what kind of world these devils are creating right before you. All right, once limited to policing the nation's boundaries, the Border Patrol has built a surveillance system stretching into the country's interior that can monitor ordinary Americans' daily actions and connections for anomalies instead of simply targeting wanted suspects. So this is all in the name of what? Peace and safety. Okay, if you look suspicious, then we need to know about it, and we will deal with you. Okay, this is basically what Esau is on right now, man. Okay, so the devil is being exposed, and the Lord is going to stop this man. All right, but this is just even more reason to be circumspect, to watch what's going on around you, man, because this world is changing rapidly, and come next year, things are going to get super duper draconian. All right, just you wait and see. All right, check this out. Another unrighteous draconian decree that has come down, and this will soon be in all states. New upkeep law will fine American homeowners $200 for tending to their own backyards using traditional method. All right, so here it is. You know what I'm saying? You so-called buy a home. That's your property, so-called. You should be able to do what you want on it, right? Private property, right? But now the government is now telling you that you cannot do certain things on your property. So again, what does this mean, man? This means that your constitutional rights are being stripped away, and this ultimately means that you're coming into a system of complete totalitarian authoritative control, okay, in which you will have no say-so. The government will dictate to you what you can do, and there will be no privacy, okay, because why is it the state's business what you're doing on your own property, man? All right, but this is just these devils taking more and more control and grieving the people. And this is the wicked that the Bible speaks of, man. A strict new upkeep law. And keep in mind, this has been passed into a law, okay? This is now a law that if you, as we'll read, risks house-proud Americans being hit with $200 fines for tending to their own gardens. Can't make this shit up, man. This is Esau all day. Officials have permanently banned a popular type of yard equipment after complaints about excessive noise. But not all residents and businesses are thrilled about the prohibition of gas-powered leaf blowers. Arlington, Massachusetts has agreed to a full ban which will go into effect for everyone, commercial and residential, in March 2026. So this is one of the many grievous, unrighteous decrees coming down the pipe come next year. Look, man, life next year is going to be vastly different from what you knew. Okay, 5 years ago, before the pandemic, even 2 years ago. All right, this is going to be a new paradigm that these devils are going to set up, man. And this is going to be the most grievous BS ever. All right, the article drew dozens of comments, with one person warning a landscaper going to multiple jobs in one day probably can't carry enough charged batteries to keep them going that long. I bought a battery leaf blower. It takes 4 hours to charge for a constant 20 minutes of use, right? My gas blower uses very little fuel. Slovakia. Let's get back to that. Yeah, my gas blower uses very little fuel, takes under 5 minutes to refuel, and I can run it for about 30 to 45 minutes full blast. I want my yard work done today, not have to span it out over the course of 3 or 4 days. Other accused legislators of making and enforcing bad interfering decisions. And see, this is what's going to cause people to rebel. Okay, this is what's going to cause civil war within America. And these devils know what they're doing, man. All right? Because they came out with that movie last year, Civil War. And that's exactly what they want. Okay, they're going to pass these laws to frustrate people and to basically leave people no other option but to crash out and come against the government. Okay, and from then they're going to implement the martial law. They're going to come in, bust people heads to the white meat, you know what I'm saying? And, their world is going to reign supreme, man. All right? So, hey, man, this is the time in which faith is going to be tested. And, it's coming down to the point where we're going to have to walk away from this system, you know what I'm saying? Because, this is just getting ridiculous at this point, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's important to not be too invested in this system, because when these certain things come down the pipe, and they will, you already see that they making moves to do it. When these certain things come down, it's pretty much Esau going to be on the type of time like, look, it's either you going to get down or you going to lay down, okay? And a lot of people are going to get laid down behind these laws that he's putting in place, man, because he's going to implement these things eventually by brute force. All right, he's going to go to what he knows, which is the sword. All right. And again, people, you know what I'm saying? People did not ask for this. But again, this is all a part of a wider agenda. Okay, that like I mentioned before, the UN sustainability goals, man. Okay, this is what this all goes into. Getting away from gas and, natural fuel, and going more electric, because electricity can be controlled. You know what I'm saying? Electricity can be rationed. You know what I mean? And you can cut it off whenever you want to. You see? Yeah. So that's pretty much it for the articles. Let's get a Second Ezra's 9. All right. Second Ezra's 9. We'll start at top, verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, this is what's coming. Okay, uproars of the people in the world, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't think all of this that these devils are bringing down the pipe is going to cause people to uproar, cause people to protest? You already seen it in many different nations across the earth. You know what I'm saying? To where people are rising up against their governments, you know what I'm saying? Overthrowing their government, man, because these same very things that we reading about, this is already being done in other nations, you know what I'm saying? And the working class people, they're not happy about it, man. So they're taking to the streets and they tearing shit up. You know what I'm saying? The same thing you see happening in Mexico right now. Same thing you see happening in Nepal. Same thing happening in the EU nations right now. This happening all over the earth, okay? And it's only a matter of time before these things, you know what I'm saying, before these docile Americans get roused up. You know what I'm saying? Because these devils, again, they're pushing the envelope so people can, you know what I'm saying, give them what they want, okay, which is a more angrier world. so they can justify bringing in their order. You know what I'm saying? Um, Verse 4, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest had plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and effects and endings like it and effects and signs. You know what I'm saying? So these endings and effects and signs, all these things, man, you know what I'm saying? And many more things, you know what I'm saying? You got signs in the heavens, you got signs within the earth, and ultimately, you know, you have people that are in a very vicious spirit right now, to say the least, you know what I'm saying? And what's gonna come down the pipe in 2026 is gonna cause people to just really lose it. All right, because when these things come down, man, like people gonna realize, like, yeah, we've been sold down the river, all right, without a paddle, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be like, shit, we ain't got nothing to lose. F it. And people gonna go to war. They're gonna go to war with each other. They're gonna go to war with these government officials. And there was a small hat, you know, I think he was on Fox News or something like that, because a lot of people are coming against them, was really, you know what I'm saying, you can trace all this really back to the small hats. You know what I'm saying? But he was on there. He was like, yeah, well, look at it. Every nation that tried to, kick out the Jewish people, you know what I'm saying, they all went down. So yeah, you can go ahead and try to kick us out, but you gonna go down too, in so many words. You know what I'm saying? So he basically saying, look, man, because Esau being exposed, Amalek is being put to the forefront as the real problem. So once people really get down to the bare bones, like the roots of where all this BS is coming from, they gonna come for them. And that's when the devil's gonna pull the plug on the system, and everybody gonna lose, and they gonna, fulfill their agenda. All right, so with that, I'm gonna go ahead and close out, Lord willing. This lesson was edifying through the Rakah Kadash, call law, Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakah Kadash. And until next time, Lord willing, shalom to the elect, Kum Yashala, Wa Bible Ball, Shalom.